would you look at that? We got another one. So if you guys haven't seen the last video, basically I had the Nova B5R, had about a little over a gallon on it. I noticed there was just a little bit of play in the rod, so I tore the engine down, and I come across that the DLC coated crank was worn. And like I said, the DLC on the actual crankshaft is anti-wear coating, and it wore away. So I ended up contacting Main Hobbies because they're the main distributor for Nova engines in North America, and they didn't have any Nova B5Rs in stock, so they said, tell you what, send it in and we'll ship you out what you like. Tell you what, how about you send me out a T6R? So they didn't just send me out a T6R, they sent me out a T6R Evo. So that's what we got now. No more B5R, but instead we're gonna try out this T6R Evo. Let's take a look at it. Oh, what is this? Are they showing people that they actually look at their engines? Sweet, checked by whoever that is. So there you go. We got an actual QC card coming with the engines now. We got another thank you card and another sticker card. Add for 25% nitro. Look at that shim. That looks a bit beat up, Nova. Got another carburetor. Oh, they don't anodize that no more. They're actually putting dust seals and everything now. I like that. Good stuff, Nova. Comes with a little O-ring here. See what venturi we have. My B5R, my first run B5R that I had, came with an aluminum venturi. Not sure why they switched to plastic. And here's the engine. Well, first things first is this engine's gonna have to come apart. Look at this. There's like lint all over the box. And the thought was they got a dust seal on the exhaust, but nothing on the intake. There's a beautiful DLC coated crank. So I'm gonna put you guys on the tripod, and we'll crack this open, see what it's about. There's that back plate again. Beautiful looking back plate as always. Lots of oil on there, as you can tell. There we go. And this head has no index marks on it like the last one. Quite a bit going on with the sleeve, not bad. Not bad at all. Not sure what's with this. That's like a actual like indention right there. Have to give it a wipe, but the sleeve looks pretty good. Piston's on there pretty good. Okay, finally got the engine apart. Man, that piston was freaking in there. It took me probably an hour to get it out. It was freaking tight. And I even took the bearings out, and I'm glad I did. A couple of you guys have been asking me recently, man, why do you take your engines apart all the time? Brand new engines, why do you take them apart? Well, check this. I probably don't even have to use the effects on this rag. Look at all the metal shavings. Especially right there. I even took the rear bearing out, and I'm glad I did. Look at that. There's a piece of metal sitting just right there. See that? Piece of metal waiting for me when I take the bearing out. So what I'm going to do next is, on top of what I did off camera, was I tipped the block upside down like this and just sprayed everything out with compressed air. What I'm going to do on top of that is I'm either going to take this to a sink and clean it out with soap and water, or I'm going to throw it in my ultrasonic cleaner along with the head, because there's like lint all over the head from the box. So yeah. Alrighty, so I've had time to completely disassemble this engine, clean it thoroughly, and give you my thoughts. Alright, so first things first, let's go over it. Here's the back plate. Literally nothing has changed the back plate. It's just still sweet as always. And yeah, it's just a back plate. Got the crank. They did a nicer job with the crankshaft on this one. It actually comes out of the block. The DLC coating is actually on everything on the crankshaft. So, nice one there, Nova. You got it right on this one. The head is pretty sweet. They really lightened it and shortened it up. Now, there's one thing that they didn't change from the first gen head, is that the bottom of the head is still got this coating on it. I remember a few people were pretty concerned when they saw this. They're like, oh, Nova's cutting corners. Well, apparently what this actually is it provides better heat transfer. So it's there for a reason. This is where it gets good. So here's the block. They made some pretty interesting cuts. Lots of cuts on the block. You can see these two cuts right here. Yeah, they did a lot to the block. The reason why I say it gets interesting is because this block was full of metal shavings. It wasn't good, and it's gonna be hard to show, but actually these corners right here were like really rigid, like sharp. So I actually had to go in there with some sandpaper on my finger and knock the rough edge off, because it was bad. After that, I give it a second go over. I just literally put the block in a little bath and cleaned it. So the block is clean now. The head, it's just a head. There's not even an index mark on it this time, which is kind of interesting. It's got an O-ring head, which is nice. Number 5 glow plug. Comes with a whack of shims. Plus, supposedly, I got to add an extra one for 25 and up %. So I got to add this shim as well. Oh, I actually skipped over the bearings. So this says Nova engines. It's regular 7x19x6. Shingle shielded rubber. If I had another bearing in stock, I would probably replace this, because you guys know I like my double shield front bearings. Now, this is where Nova's got some explaining to do. And I shit you not, I pulled this out of this block. Look at that. What does that say? Nova Rossi patent. It's a first off, I'm pretty disappointed because the R line is supposed to be a step up from the regular line. The original R line of the Nova engines was supposed to come with a DLC coated crank, which is what you got, a third high-speed needle on the carburetor, which is what you got, but they're skimping out on the bearings. Why does it have a Nova Rossi bearing in it? I don't get that one, but okay. And moving over to the piston real quick. The piston is awesome. Looks very nicely machined. It's lightened, but if you look really closely, the last thing that this engine is missing is it does not have a DLC coated wrist pin like the original R series had. So you're paying all this extra money, and now Nova's taking things away. That's bullshit, people. Going back to the sleeve real quick. Here's the sleeve. Got the nice Nova laser engraving on there. I was curious about this port, and what this port underneath the exhaust is actually a cooling port for the piston. Well, and if you think about it, that's a pretty clever idea. The side of the piston, as you know, is hotter than the intake side. So they just added this port here to help lower the temperatures of the exhaust side of the piston, which is pretty cool. So we got a 3-piece exhaust, the main one and these two up top. We got our transfers, got our intakes, more transfers. It's a six port sleeve, and it's a, what do you call that? It's a square stroke engine, which means the bore and the stroke are square. So they equal the same, or close to the same, which is pretty cool. Nice bevel finish on the bottom. Got some reliefs for the rod. And one issue that they did have with the original engines is the inside of the sleeves are pretty rough. And this one, though it's not really picking it up on camera, this sleeve is awesome. It's immaculate. That's got a lot of pinch. That's where it stops right there. I'm supposed to use that, I guess. It'll bed in. So there we go. That's the pre-run kind of look and kind of review, I guess, of this Nova T6R Evo. I think it's going to be a good engine, honestly. Forget me finding the metal shavings in this engine. I know it's like, oh god, found metal shavings in it. Every single brand new engine I've taken apart, realistically so far, has had some sort of metal shaving or something in it right from the factory. So forget that. but I did find a slight jagged edge in the actual crankcase on the transfer. You know, there's still little stuff, but what bugs me is that the price stays the same for the R, and you're losing features. That's dirty, in my opinion. Why is there a Nova T6R bearing in there? I have no idea. But yeah, I do think it's going to be a good engine, but the proof is going to be in the running. So give me some time. I'm going to slap some stuff on this, get it back in the buggy, and we'll break this sucker in. Hopefully a few weeks, maybe end of the month, and it's going to be sweet. Now, I did have a bit of a tough time breaking my B5R in, and it was a really tight engine. So this time, I think I'm going to go ahead and get some break-in oil for this. So it hopefully is a little nicer to break in and is not so hard on itself. So anyways, that's going to be about it for this video. And we'll catch you soon, hopefully with a break-in video.
One eternity later.
We have just over a quart ran through this thing. Let's see how it runs.
Not quite sure what just happened. Car's locked up. If you look right there, look at it! A rock got in and completely jammed up the clutch bell.
So after seeing it run, I guess you guys want to know what I think. I think this is what this engine, this product should have been in the first place all along. Let's start from the beginning. First tank for the break-in, fired right up, did not touch the settings on the carburetor at all. The break-in itself was painless. It did install once. I ran just over a quart. Then I tuned it. I think it took me like 5 minutes to tune. It's stable. It holds a tune. And it's got all kinds of power. I'm still a little kind of slightly upset that they, skimped out on a few things. I think I left this out, but the original bearings and the R series were also Swiss made. They were Swiss ceramic. These are regular steel bearings. But hey, that's small potatoes. This thing makes up for it. We'll see what holds for this engine in the long term. But so far, this engine, I don't have a single bad thing to say about it. Running wise, it runs very good and it performs very good. So like I said, we'll just have to see what the future holds.